Wow, look, I'm really feeling it. I'm dancing, just along with Acid Man and Marge Simpson. Truly am one of the greats. My moves cannot be matched. Well, anyway, that's enough raving for the day. We have levels to take care of. Hello, welcome back to my MaGMML3 playthrough. Last time we got through a very polluted sewer or something of the sort, and for some reason that's in the middle of a rave. I feel like that's a health violation, but I guess we'll move on. Ernest Weil will take care of it, I'm sure. Let's see what the heck is going on over here. Bomb Boy. That's what that's called? That's a great name for that enemy, actually. Let's see. Working as security cameras got me wondering, who makes these E-tanks anyways? I posted a meme about this. It's clearly Auto. There's a Pepsi Man for Pepsi. Is there an E-Man for energy tanks? I feel there's definitely got to be an E-Man out there somewhere. Certainly not as vocal as Pepsi Man, if so, which is good for me, given I can only retain water. I mean, if we want to have E, M, W, and S-Man, and then I guess also L-Man, I think L-Man would probably go the hardest. Everyone forgets about L-Man, but very important addition to the Mega Man canon. Oh, okay. That's invincible. Not suspicious at all. Steam is Markiplier. Yeah, very true. God, I almost forgot that meme existed. Jeez. Let's see, one of these has got to work eventually, right? No. No magnet beam. Alright, well, I guess we'll just come back to it later then. I'm sure there's probably some interactable around here. I mean, L-Man, that might be Dr. Phil, I'm thinking about it. He does have that one pose. Oh, Judgment Man. Hey, I've heard of you. You have an altar weapon. Oh, okay. Nice big light. Very thematic. Locks after getting the altar weapons optional challenge level. Oh, okay. Oh, that's very cute. Mate, who you gonna call? The police? Mate, we are the police. That's all I can think of seeing all these enemies. Oh, okay. Not a sort of a door, not really. Like that. It's gonna hurt me? Oh, okay, it's just back regular fan stuff. Alright. Very cute aesthetics on this. I'm loving it. I can totally see why Judgment Man could get a spotlight for not an altar weapon, but the reskinned weapons. Let's see. So, how am I doing today? What have I done? Went back to... Oh, that's a shame. Went back to work. Started out, right after Labor Day weekend. Started off quite busy. A lot of things to catch up on. Nothing too bad, though. Kind of a boring day overall. Well, I wouldn't say that. Had inspections to do, and then had to rush to finish a presentation that I have to give in a couple days' time, so... eventful, certainly. No rest. But that's alright. Weekend was in fact recharging for once, so I'm actually ready to face the week. I will never, I will always respect the amount of time it now takes editors to do things. With how draining it has been on the rest of, my emotions. But it's rewarding, so we'll keep at it. Oh, I'm not doing so hot at this, huh? Usually these don't give me such trouble. Alright, threat taken care of. Now we can focus on the platforming. I'll say the music feels a little bit simple. It's not necessarily bad, but there definitely is something about it that's not quite as ear-catching as some of the other tracks have been in this contest so far. 10 hours to do video editing for an ordeal. Yeah, oh god. It certainly is something. I cannot. Oh, hey, Ace Attorney. I get that reference. I can't wait for the day where I can eventually just hire people to do the editing for me. But you know, until the money comes. Oh, bye. Oh well, okay, I'm doomed here. That was fun though. I got for once, instead of me doing a chicken dance or a zip through something, I got the enemy to do so. Right, I don't really need to do this room again. Go through that, go up here. Not take very long to break out the laser trident. All it takes is one armored enemy, and it's like, nope, no patience anymore. I really went back and died because I forgot that was just 2 screws and 2 energy up there. I actually thought there was another path, but I skipped it because I didn't need it, and that's why my brain mentally blocked it out. So, oops, time waster. Okay. Well, so far, I really like that the enemies are being used to complement the movement gimmick of the level. I think that's quite neat, actually. But so far, it is still mostly just these Blade Man seesaws that I just got too impatient with. Okay. Would like to see a little bit more. Oh, fuck off. I shouldn't have missed that. Oh well. Up with some of the edits, been meaning to find something to help pass time throughout the day. I mean, we could work something out. I wouldn't be opposed to that. I would attempt to provide compensation, although there's not like there's anything actually coming in for the channel at the moment. But yeah, you know, we could work out. I could contact you if you're interested. Okay. Okay, I'm starting to get frustrated with the gimmick now. This, well, it's not death. This does take a long chunk of time if you ever fail. Okay, get me out of the screen. Oh god. I don't want to ever see that again. And hey, look, we're seeing it again. Just slightly different. I'm doing an example showcase, make a call on that, and do one last week. Real life problems happen, so you know. Oh yeah, sure, of course. Yeah, I mean, you want to send me an example or something? You know, I do have my, I guess my business Gmail listed. That's a weird way to say it, but first time having to say it out loud. But I do have a, you know, an email listed specifically for this channel's type stuff in my description. So if you want to look at that and send something over there, I could take a look and, you know, see how things go. And you already have a basic idea of, you know, the kind of editing quality that I already, you know, put out on this channel. So let's try to match that, I guess. Okay, well, there's probably something up there. I guess I'll use the magnet beam to get to it. A little bit of an odd decision to not make it rush coil accessible, but I suppose when magnet beam, you know, good old magnet beam, nothing beats that. Why design for poor old rush coil? This fight breaks a little bit when you can just stand back like that. And some more once finished. Appreciate it. Hey, fake man. Oh, policeman. So just thank you for freeing me at last. While I was here, I managed to find some junk lying around, including this cardboard badge. The sheer audacity. It's not even like a pin. It's not even made out of metal. Either way, I have no use for any of it. Take what you will. This will become very useful when I have to go and defend Flashwoman for tax evasion. I am now starting to actually get a little bit curious. Oh, those spikes are actually close enough to kill me. I was not expecting that. I was saying, I'm now a little bit curious about the lore. If we have a fake man locked behind a wall, being guarded by Suzak and Phoenix, wonder how did we end up in this situation? Is Judgment Man a corrupt individual? That's what my money is currently on. Okay. Now we're starting to introduce a lot of instant death to this already kind of tricky gimmick. If it wasn't already a little bit frustrating before, just for the amount of time you have to spend... amount of time you have to spend recovering from a 11-foot fall, now it's getting kind of nerve-wracking. Though I'm going to probably guess this might be the final stretch of the stage, considering just the length we've been here. And the difficulty of this last challenge. Turning back that refills your health and ammo should go great with that shrimp you collected earlier. Yeah, you can never be quite too full on everything. Wish it refilled Ace Attorney's health and ammo. Imagine if Nick just goes ahead and brings a gun to the courtroom. Probably wouldn't end well for him, but it does seem like something he would do. Out of sheer incompetence. Okay. Commando Man like, huh? Alright. We're back to Crash Can't Fight Commando Man. At least Judgment Man doesn't seem to shake the ground once he's fighting you. That makes things a little easier. A powerful attorney finger, TM. It's just like, oh, what is it? I want to say Rude Buster, but that's not correct. That's a different thing. I'm thinking of, from Mega Man Dongs, whatever the one that shoots out mean words as an attack is. Instead of it being mean words for Nick, it's just, you know, hold it, an objection. Okay, well, I mean, that was kind of a fun stage. I don't know, personally I wasn't really digging it past the aesthetics too much. It kind of wore off after the very beginning. Like, it was a pretty cool... I mean, it was a very good use of all of Blade Man's gimmicks. Or I guess gimmick. And the enemies did pair well with it. But after a while, the gimmick use just did kind of get tedious again. And at least the stage ended at an appropriate time, but I mean, I don't know. Otherwise, I was getting quite bored by the end. Clearly a student of Airman. Now, why would you say that? Oh, I missed the other one. I mean, it literally blows people back with a huge gust of wind in the enemy. Oh, yeah, then definitely. He absolutely is a student of Airman. Especially if people can't avoid it either. Like, no need to fight fair. Alright, so, what do the judges have to say about this? Nice city backdrop, off to a good start. I can clearly see where we're going to go next. Let me just slide through transitions, and oh my stars, that's a death pit. Started level for me. Alright, well that didn't happen, but I could have very much easily seen it happening for me, but... I'm glad we have the street. It's a good opportunity to introduce the police enemies, and it's great for setting the scene. I just wish that first transition was nicer. Here's the main level. Single strongest point is its theming, being completely courthouse with no real mechanical elements. Yeah, I think that's nice, considering that the robots are, you know, blended in enough to where it doesn't need to look super mechanical. Early fan game stage vibes. Yeah, I would agree. This would I could see this as like kind of a, you know, my first fan game kind of release type thing. Reminder of Judgment.exe in the theming, but Judgment Man adopts different concepts. The Mets are now police officers. Picket Man's a judge. Berserker's an awesome gavel, and it's topped off with security sprinklers. A couple of phoenixes, which those were weird inclusions, and scales to jump around on. I mean, I know sprite work takes time, but you could have at least made them legal eagles. Without a doubt, the theming here is phenomenal. Unfortunately, the strong theming is undercut by a lackluster execution. Well, I guess maybe Judgment Man is an expert in bird law. That would justify Suzak and Phoenix. For specific enemy problems, the walking officers have a needlessly high fire rate. Judge Picket mix of shielding and high fire rate can get really dicey. I mean, that's just the Picket Man enemy. If anything, it's better because it only takes like 4 damage to destroy here. Beaks and Gavel Berserkers, the biggest issue is that they barely exist. Now remember the Beaks in one room, period. There's only 2 Berserkers in the whole level. Complete shame, as those axes are fairly rare. Assets like the Police Mets and Screw Bombers have some difficulty issues. Yeah, and you get knocked down all the way to the ground, or into a pit. First Screw Bomber is arguably the most dangerous one on the level. Yeah, because it really knocks you into that pit. Execution is a bit more mixed. On one hand, the seesaws have more distinct scenarios, like the vertical climbing sections. I do appreciate how they belong much more than they did in Blade Man's level. Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. It does work with the whole scales of justice kind of theming. Although if they were actually, just resprited a little bit to actually look like scales, then I would have made the connection. But, it took Mick pointing that out for me to realize that. Low synergy between the energy set and the seesaws, a lot of time spent just jumping on them. I would disagree. There is a pretty high synergy between them. Granted, there isn't a bunch of respawning enemies about it, but they do, bother you while jumping on the seesaw a lot, so. Some more flying enemies have done this place some good, or even just using more of the crack platforms. It's kind of middling. It's never actively unfair, but it tends to get a little underutilized or boring. Token mini-boss is a bit awkward. Suzak and Phoenix aren't properly synced, so I can tell they weren't implemented correctly. Oh yeah, that was kind of weird. They were both shooting fire at certain points. Boss ends things on a good note. Judgment Man's straight fireball is an annoyingly unclear telegraph. There's an otherwise fine mutation of Commando Man. I mean, that's also just Commando Man. Also a fair bit easier, despite the full 3-attack moveset, the same number as Commando Man's hard mode. Considering how annoying Commando Man can be, I'm okay with that. Yeah, definitely a little bit of a downgrade. It's fine. I see Suzak and Phoenix are supposed to be Phoenix Wright and Miles Edgeworth. I feel like that's a certain literary interpretation that may or may not hold up to scrutiny. It's like, what? Okay, Suzak and Phoenix, they symbolize what and whom, actually, do we want to represent? But I could see the interpretation. The Phoenix. Oh, no. Yep. You're right. I'm the idiot again. That's actually really good. For the most part, this is perfectly average and middle-of-the-road level. If anything, I would say the stage's biggest strength is its theming. Courthouse look, while it feels a bit plain, works well enough. There's a nice array of custom enemies. Being said, I felt they rarely ever pose an actual threat outside of certain situations. And then when you're on a seesaw, at the very least, I can appreciate wanting to give the player something else to balance during those vertical seesaw segments. Aside, most of the platforming here feels very basic. Yeah. Well, I mean, it does definitely engage you in that final stretch where all the hits and spikes are. And the only other major thing to talk about here is the end boss, so I'm glad Judgment Man himself actually shows up. I'm not sure if Commando Man was the best choice to use as basis for the fight. As he is now, I found it a bit difficult to read his attacks properly. Yeah. Ultimately, it's as I said at the beginning of the review, pretty average level, and stand too much. Shador guilty. You be the judge. Actually, really cute short little stage. Court setting. Ace Attorney references are natural. Seesaw platforms and scales. Good sprite work. Music is a bit, bit repetitive and just kind of, I don't know, doesn't really have a force of presence. It's a little bit weak. Biggest problem that source for me, a huge tendency of falling off the seesaw platforms. Yeah, and then having to redo the whole thing and wait. It's boring. Judgment Man has cool design. It's a pretty clever interpretation of the attacks. Strong theme, you can elevate an entire level. Although, actually, wait, interpretation of the attacks? I mean, he's not shooting out just bombs now at this point, but he is just kind of throwing orbs at people. I don't know if that's necessarily associated with judges. They usually at least throw gavels at people. They try to give a deep analysis on why they're supposed to represent them, like your middle school English teacher. Meanwhile, the actual answer is just they are phoenixes. I try to give the interpretation because for some reason I didn't connect the simple answer. You know me by now. I overcomplicate everything. I can't just take the simple answer. Yeah, no. That ability will remain with me for the rest of my life. Strong theme, you can elevate the entire level. Definitely the case here. The transition from delightful city scene to austere yet comfortable courthouse is excellent. All the enemies feel like they belong here. Even the generic beaks and screwdrivers feel like they're security robots. Phoenix references, plural. Add an extra charm, although the boss music doesn't segue well from the buoyantly fun main theme. Judgment Man himself is pretty righteous. Fight is solid. Take his Judge Dredd helmet and the gigantic scales. Combine with reasonable checkpoints and level length, make up for some shortcomings. Fair amount of fluff, although, yeah, seesaw segments just take a while. Challenges tend to decrease in difficulty and complexity rather than increase. I wouldn't quite say that. For the first match screen with the immune immediately afterward, the beginning of the final stretch can be brutal. That is a tough seesaw and spike jump. However, the level's still fun. Let's see seesaws upward for a change. Enemy combat's enjoyable. Best of all, the theme captures the colorful character that I love about this series. Well, no problem. I'll keep at it then. I have to admit my biases. The stage has an uphill battle using Blade Man platform gimmick. Least favorite gimmicks? I wouldn't say that. I think that it's actually a gimmick I like a lot because it has just the right spacing to be able to jump rapidly from one to the other. And once you actually hit a really good rhythm with the Blade Man platforms, it's very satisfying to jump on. And I think that's kind of the thing that I guess maybe works against it in this level for me. Even though it does, the Mets and all the other enemies make it a good challenge to use the Blade Man platforms to get around. The thing I like doing on Blade Man platforms is just hopping super quickly on them. So what instead I would actually want to see is like a lava rising kind of situation. You have to hop on the Blade Man platform really quickly in order not to fall into the drink. That's something that I would enjoy a lot more. There were better uses of the gimmick in the contest. Don't hate it. The only real time it began to irritate me was the segment with the end. Yeah. And that stage is a nice romp. There isn't a ton to drag it down. The few assets work just fine. Doesn't particularly look in style with Mega Man in some places. Yeah, a little bit. Very Euro trash NES style. Alright, A-Spark. That's some interesting shade to be throwing. It's a tad more simplistic than is normal for any Mega Man game past Mega Man 2. Some of the new enemy sprites look a little bit weird. I guess, but I think they're better than... they are certainly in the side of more good than bad. Almost don't care, the stage looks adorable. Almost every enemy getting a law-themed rework is very much appreciated. And it's also nice little details, doors, signs, and windows as Ace Attorney. Judge himself as a Commando Man rework, but it's a pretty good one. Could have been fooled into thinking this was created to hold hog. Yeah, I guess. But even if he's a rework, he's still mechanically a new boss. It's pretty solid. Even if you go to one with slightly better tells, the stage is all around better for having its original robot master there. Above average Mega Man level, it looks cute. A few other complaints, they're mostly aesthetic. Not replacing the Suzak and Phoenix sprites means that mid-boss sticks out from the stage like a sore thumb. Honestly not sure how they fit in outside of maybe being an Ace Attorney reference, in which case a resprite could have helped sell it. And on that note, oh hey look, A-Spark is just as dense as I am. The music, a little tinny and repetitive. Darkwing Duck. These Ace Attorney references. Why on God's green earth did you not use Ace Attorney music? That is an excellent point. That would have stuck out really well. So you showed up MaGMML3. Doesn't have to be NES style if you can't find covers. Early AA music sounds retro. I'm baffled. Yeah, it's a baffling choice. I think the Blade platforms have used more effectively the entries that use them compared to actual Blade Man stage. Yeah, I mean, I guess actual Blade Man stage was a little bit No, I don't know. I like Blade Man's usage because what I really liked about when I Blade Man showed up later, maybe thinking about the 48-hour entries. All right, well, I'm looking forward to it if it's in this contrast. So I think what I really actually did enjoy about Blade Man's platforms in his original stage was not only just the ability to kind of hop quickly back and forth like I was talking about earlier, but also the fact that, like, they are strategically placed so that the flying enemies respawn as you're jumping on them. So that way you kind of have to get a feel for where the enemy spawn trigger is and play around that and shoot preemptively. It rewards a player who's paying attention. I actually really enjoyed that. And then, I don't know, maybe some of the jumps at the end were very nerve-wracking, but they ultimately were doable enough that it wasn't kind of like, you know, too difficult to get past the spikes on top and pit below. Top 20 with the time penalty. Ooh, good. Yeah. Oh, Hunter Woman. Rave too much for you? Harsher than any jungle or desert. It's an assault on the senses. Yeah, you got that right. I'm finally starting to relate to you. So much noise, so many lights, so many potential threats around you at once. In strength find me, I shall persevere. Yeah, no, that's kind of the exact reason I have not gone to a rave in real life. I don't think I would handle it very well. Time penalty, Patchy's bronze favorite. Oh, bronze favorite? I think it said that for Flashman last time. Oh, wait, that means there's going to be multiple favorites. Excellent. Okay. Hit the jackpot. All right. Well, for the seventh time in a row, let's go gambling. All right. Obligatory go left for something. Oh, hey, the Toad House. I've seen this in a highlight. Sometimes I hope you all lay. There's no box. We'll just take whatever's there, I guess. Okay, I'll do that. Thank you, Toad Man. Or Toad Man. Contractually obligated you to welcome you to the Top Hat Palace. Please feel free to tell the boss I sent you. I need that bonus. I will go back to the food court and give you a good review, Toad Man. We're on silver gold. Yep. Oh, hey, you got me. A shrine to Splash Woman? Alright, I'll take it. Alright, the Mets have a bit of an awkward timing to them, but I guess I'll get used to it. So far, I've been hit by every single one, so they're very well placed. You any different from the original? No? Okay, good to know. Well, that's a cool use of it. I don't think Metal Man ever quite used the combination of conveyor belts and his own minions in that way to actually make it, you know, stand still. I don't know if it was exactly all that. I don't know if it exactly did a whole lot, considering the fact that, like, it just means I had to shoot it a couple times before I could platform up there, but, you know, it's something. I guess this is the secret path, so... Okay, sweet. Oop. Almost got me there. Alright. Of course, I failed the easy jump backwards. Well, alright. I mean, so far the level's aesthetics are pretty nice. Mr. X is a solid color palette, or solid palette to use. Palette's not the right word, but the right word is escaping me at the moment. Mr. X's castle is a pretty good one to use, and it's a good, you know, couple retexturing of the wheel assets from Mega Man 6. I think they definitely work better as a red color than the green that they originally appeared in. I'm not so sure about the, I guess maybe the theming of it all, though. You know, why do we have conveyor belts in space? Why do we have bouncy platforms in space as well? I suppose we'll get to the answers there, but it does feel a little strange. A little bit themeless, a little gormless, if you will. I think it's how the Megax can handle the interaction. Every instance those enemies like conveyors. Yeah, no, I mean, that's cool. I enjoy that the Mega Mix engine does that. Maybe maybe it's just a good introduction of it for now, and we'll see it maybe get utilized later in the stage. Red because it's supposed to be poker chips. Oh, okay. Oh, well, yeah, that would answer things. The stage theming just changed quite a bit. Ah, alright. I get it. Yay, a 7. Oh, I think I was probably supposed to hit all 3 of those. Let's hit retry. Ba. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sweet. What's my reward? Oh, an E-tank. Alright, I'll take it. I was fully expecting that to be a token already. And there's probably a pretty cool reward for hitting all 7s here, but I fucked up the first one. Guess we're not gonna know. Cool. Isn't random either. Yeah, the timing's good. I think that is quite solid. It now makes a lot more sense what was happening with, the red poker chips type stuff. It was just a little strange that we had to start outside from Mr. X's castle for so long. I think that's maybe the chief aesthetic complaint right now, is that the intro was maybe a little unnecessary. Only disqualify people for being late and not also bad. Wait, what? Why this contest of judges who pretty much only disqualify people for being late and not also for bad quality or other things as well? I mean, that's not true. They just have to actually apply a time penalty. I mean, otherwise, people who are, people who are late need to be given an appropriate penalty, because otherwise, because it makes more work for the judges. If people just submit it at any given time, then, that's just how it gotta work. Everybody had the same amount of time. You can't give some people extras for, anything special, even if they did a really good job. And certainly, I think the levels that were terrible, got fair criticism for that and scored appropriately. I don't agree with every single scoring decision that the judges have made, but generally I feel that the tier rankings are of appropriate order. I know there was one stage that was in, like, tier 5 or something that I was like, oh no, this should absolutely be in tier 2, but more should have been disqualified. Oh. Well, okay. Hey, sheer luck. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. I think it's fine that some late submissions were allowed to actually be here. Just considering that, they aren't going to win at that point. Like, if you have a 25% time penalty, there's no way in hell you're going to actually be able to win. And I think that's fine to at least still be able to showcase that, hey, you did really well. Even if, you're not going to, like, properly win anything. People just need that feedback, Some tokens are tied to gain 777, several others with quality. Oh yeah. Oh, that's good that I don't have to actually keep worrying about the tokens then, because thank you, you just saved me from an over-obsessive several resets being like, no, hold on, there's definitely gonna be something here if I get the 777s, just you wait. Rules violations, judging games voted, being excluded. Yeah. If it was really such a problem, then they would have, not allowed it in. But, the judges wanted to be charitable for those who had life events, and they while people with life events that took it long, make it take longer, still couldn't quite win. They still at least got to showcase, and plus also the fact is it's just fun to have some of the late submissions in. Like, if you include the later submissions that are good, then that means that there's just more cool things for people to actually enjoy in this competition, even if they aren't the winners necessarily. Someone might, you might have a favorite that is 25% late. It would just be a shame to have missed it because, there was, it was, late to too much of an extent. I mean, it's good that there's a cutoff at some point, but, Alright, cool stage. Nice, nice pacing here. Didn't actually take too long. Oh, and then look, 4, 5, 6, 7. Whoa! That was rocket jump, kapow. Oh, the stage isn't actually over. Gotcha. Okay. This content entry is much higher quality than MaGMML2's, even counting stuff like X6 Beam. Not saying the X6 Beam is better than, like, say, Neapolitan Man or anything. Yeah, I mean, that makes... I'd say that makes sense. I don't have quite the strongest recollection of MaGMML2, as I demonstrated previously. But you know, I do think that there's a lot of cool levels in here. There's certainly things that even go down as, you know, far as tier 4 that, like, I'm going to remember for a good while. Take over half an hour, it should be booted. Yeah, I would probably vote in maybe that direction as well if I were on the judge panel. Remember the lucky number? I guess it has to be 7. Because, like, yeah, I don't think that I would want anybody to play Hunter Tower, ever in my whole life. Aw, oh, damn it, I messed up. Oh well, I'll come back. Another time, then. Yeah, because I think at a certain point, Hunter Tower Hunter Tower would have at least gotten my vote to say, no, please don't put this here. There's just too much of it. Jackpot, what's the prize? Fated battle. Now prepare yourself, we shall put on the greatest show the city will ever witness. He's just doing the pointing at you me. Okay. Alright, Token Woman's got a lot of charm. I'm liking this so far. Alright. Maybe Token Woman is falling into the shield boss trap of, oh god, he's invincible for too long. Okay, there's a different attack, and it kills me. Good. Don't get the element after being the boss. Okay, thank you. The amazing singers still need to disqualify people. Well, I mean, yeah, they certainly did. You know, hey, ultimately at the end of the day, it's their contest, and they get to run it how they want, so I'm satisfied with the final product. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and then another 1, 2. And of course I land on it like a dunce. I do like how not all the chips just go flying outwards, to where it's like you're completely safe if you're standing under the hat. You still have to pay a little bit of attention to the chips actually trying to fall on your head. It's a nice touch that makes it not a complete snooze fest to dodge that one attack that this boss does. I guess one of 2, but I would prefer a little bit less invincibility time in the boss. Normally, I'm fine with kind of waiting around a little bit longer, but this is starting to get a bit excessive. Fun. What does that say? Something was here. Sketon? Skeleton? Something. I don't know. Hey, Carrot Man. Last job didn't go so well, but I know my skills as a pachinko game dev are good enough to keep me in a job. Why, just look at that happy customer coming out of the Toad House. Her expression says it all. Live customer reaction. Oh, it's NaOH. Nice. You're wondering why my expression is that of someone who just fell into a giant pachinko machine. Alright, challenge time. If you ask me, the City War series moving on to pachinko machines was for the best. Oh, wow. That's, Huh. I don't know if I'm going to easily make my way through that. Let's use Ice Wall. Oh, it's all fake. Just like City War. Alright, that's funny. Actually, I take that back. City War is doomed. Alright, that was a fun gag. Wonder, let's see. Sorry, who knew we should never switch to digital? Wait, what? Knew we should have never switched these to digital. I bet Light hacked them again to distract the boss. Right, Crash? I have a job. Oh, you're fired. Especially because especially because this fucking machine has loss on it? Yeah, you're out of a job. And that's the last of them. Sorry, Crash, for getting the drop on you. Orders from the boss. That is fine. I will have to go back for that one token, but I can handle it. I wonder if this, Who made this again? Maybe those are just the playtesters by Karakato. Isn't that the Carrot Man? The Carrot Man maker? I feel like there's maybe a penalty for author disclosure that maybe should be here, but maybe I'm just confusing people together. I mean, either way, that was a really fun stage. It was one very simple gimmick to it, but it was used really well. And, combining the timing pressure of either chips rolling at you or the auto scroller, I thought that was super fun to actually have to work with. It maybe could have used a little bit of just a little extra push to make the gimmick really shine, or like maybe some kind of secondary gimmick along with it. But I mean, overall, definitely a lot of fun, well designed. Mr. X intro was strange, as I was complaining. Strange from an aesthetic standpoint. Not really sure why it was like that. It could have just teleported me right into a casino and no one would have complained. But yeah, I mean, outside of that, it was really fun. And then Token Woman, good fight. Maybe a little too invincible for too long, but I mean, it's certainly not the worst boss I fought in this competition so far. So let's see, what do the judges have to say about it? Let's see, boot up the level is underwhelmed. Yeah, agreed. Super Crowns were a little annoying. Oh yeah, what happened to the Super Crown Mets? Those just kind of fell off the face of the earth, huh? Whole new casino stage, what? I wish we started with these visuals. Yeah, definitely. Gambling themed gimmicks have made simple concepts, but their execution is clever. They make most of their screen time. Slot wall in particular is just chef's kiss. Gambler enemies are strong concepts and are mostly used well, although I wish the Super Crowns had more variety of their scenarios. Bounce pads and wall blaster felt boring, at least compared to everything else. Otherwise, though, experience is a joy. Bosses are no slouch. Magician's healing can be annoying. They're otherwise an excellent mutation of Suzak and Phoenix. Like they have visible health bars. Yeah, I like that they also just had more attacks than Suzak and Phoenix. Something just to keep you on your toes a little bit more. Nothing too crazy, but just enough. Also, I like that. The fact that they can heal themselves based on RNG is maybe a little irksome for some, but I mean, you're still probably going to be able to win the damage race, even if you don't even take out the hearts. So, Token Woman, though, is a highlight. Her attacks are fun and frantic to dodge. Excellent balance between her defense and her vulnerability time. I think it's a little skewed towards defense, but it's not going to completely ruin my enjoyment. Her Odd Job has much harder to dodge than her lever attack. I wouldn't say so. For some final comments, I like the ideas between Token 2 and 4. The latter all but forces a replay if you mess up. Yeah, it very much did. But the final token's hiding place is too obtuse, and Token 3 can be obnoxious if your timing sucks. Jackpots work better as cute rewards, not as challenges required for 100% completion. Bit nervous about the Toad House music, considering we're talking about the big N here. What? Beyond that, though, there's a solid level. I hope folks appreciate it as much as I do. Alright. Fair commentary from Mick. Let's go in reverse this time. Hey, Spark, what do you guys say? Gee, I wonder whose level this is. Interesting that the level starts off with unassuming with the graphics. Oh, wait, yeah, hold on. If my hunter's right then yeah, shouldn't there be an additional 10% penalty for not remaining anonymous about it? Now the slot machine gimmick here, it's simple, very nifty. The use of other dev kit assets always help to spice things up. I'm always a sucker for when they've been rejigged. Such as the mid-boss. Yep. Those Pyrobot skins are good. Rather unfortunate safe spot in the mid-boss that kind of ruins the challenge. The hitboxes were slimmed down a tad too much. Oh, you can just stand in the left corner. And I'll try to get a few of the tokens on the stage. Admittedly awful at the one hidden behind the triple slot machine gimmick, but now maybe it's just down to my disability issues, but could also cheese it by using Tornado Blow. That's a pretty good thing to think about. Wouldn't even thought of that myself. The last token, though, was Devious. Placing it after the boss is a tad harsh on the player. Basically requiring a level restart should you fail. Also a tad harsh on the player. Yeah. But, I mean, I guess that's what it's supposed to be like, so. Token 1 was interesting, although her opening coins everywhere attack was a bit spammy and luck-based for my tastes, so she just ends up being a bit on the hard side. I mean, for me, it was like once I got hit once, I understood what my assignment was. My assignment was to remain under the hat, where it was relatively safe, and then just dodge the 1 or 2 wayward coins that end up going straight down. Alright, challenges crafted with care, theming that's reinforced by aspects of the design, referential humor. New concepts are introduced and combined at a comfortably gradual pace. First stretch is solid, the level really finds its identity. Once the action moves indoors, the mini-boss, rolling poker chips, and sneaky metal setups, and fairly well implemented auto-scrolling up the ante. Agreed. Dice and card suits are worked on the decor, superb graphics and catchy soundtrack make this a very appealing place to explore. Great laugh out of Toad Man. A couple logistical reservations about the pachinko machines, but I feel like I like their inclusion. I feel like I'm missing some inside jokes with NaOH and Sarzia. Special weapons reveal a handful of oversights. Every weapon can stop the roulette gimmick, but only the Buster gets a confirmatory audio cue. Getting a 777 is the only way to access that one token. The cleverly named Token Woman doesn't do quite enough to discourage sniping her from atop the right wall. Huh. Left off, you hang out above it long enough. I guess, yeah, I really could have just hung up all the way on the top right wall and just, you know, slowly shot her as she occasionally went up to the upper left screen to escape. Only other complaints are related to Token Woman. She looks a little too human for a robot. I don't know. I mean, yeah, sure, most of the Mega Man enemies are pretty non-humanoid, but then you also, like, literally just have Roll. Roll is basically a human. Like, I don't know. I don't think that's a valid aesthetic complaint. For instance, she looks... Oh, wait, I already read that. Puts up a good fight, and that's what counts. Complaints I have don't matter nearly as much as the creativity, fair difficulty, fun atmosphere, polished architecture, and perfect length. Yep. I guess in Carrot Man maybe didn't count as a leak. This is technically not named Karakato outright. Given the association's pretty obvious who made the level if you use them, so, yeah. Yeah, it gets a little obvious at that point. Like, if I included Crash the character somewhere, it's 9 times out of 10 is gonna be me. And it's like, maybe if it was somebody else who ended up using my character in some random hypothetical, it's like, oh, okay, we looked at the list and it actually wasn't Crash, so we're not gonna apply the penalty. But it's like, the author themselves, yeah, maybe it's not that subtle. But given that NaOH says also appear in NPCs of the stage, maybe that's a leak penalty. Yeah, I guess it could be any one of the 3 of them, but at the same time, it's like, well, if it is one of the 3 of them, then it's like, well, all right, that's maybe who we should give a 10% penalty to. But whatever, judge's choice. There have been a few casino-themed entries in this contest. Favorite of the bunch is pacing, so managed to keep refreshing with energetic music. Custom sprites are adorable. I love it. The tile set is so awesome once it transitions away from Mr. X. Yeah. Changes to Suzak and Phoenix are great. The slot gimmick is simple, but works well as an obstacle, especially with auto-scrolling, which is nice. Token Woman is a neat fight, although faithful to the stage. Simple in pattern, yet fun nonetheless. Mild weakness of the normal Buster shots to make up for her, yeah, kind of flighty attack pattern. On an excellent stage, and then Shinryu, Happy Dragon. Considering what we made of our main collectibles this time around, I probably should have expected more than a few casino levels to show up. It's a fair point. As far as this one goes, well, there's a few minor issues. Entertaining stage. Level's pretty decent overall. Gimmicks are introduced well. Platform builds up. None of the sections really trip me up that much, with the exception of a few parts during the second auto-scrolling segment. By my own admission, I usually get bored pretty quickly with easy levels, but I didn't find that the case here. After the overall theming, and okay, Shinryu, this is a lot to not put into several paragraph form. This is just a wall of text at this point, my man. Overall theming is good. Reskin's vanilla assets are going well. Sudden shift between the Mr. X tile sets and the custom tiles is pretty odd at first. It very much is. Not too many complaints about the rest of the level. From the aesthetics to the side content, there's a lot to love. Main highlights was the Suit Bros mini-boss. Even though they're built off a vanilla mini-boss, they have enough tweaks. Custom attacks, and it sets them apart. Yep. Good gimmick use. Untapped potential. Yeah, you could definitely use it a little bit more. We have the boss. Token Woman was a decently enjoyable fight. Not too big a fan of how often she goes off screen. Yeah, agreed. Slightly mitigated the fact that you can destroy the giant chips to speed things up a bit. I didn't even try that. I mean, I could have, but I figured it would just take the same amount of time. Dodging is still fun, though. It's a pretty good note to end on. Yep. Toadman is the best NPC in any of these user-submitted levels. I got a kick out of seeing him the first time, so I have to give a lot of kudos for that. Yeah, it was a pretty nice inclusion. Oh shit, it's Infinite Crash. Let's see. Game Trooper and Wither of Earth were a lot more obvious in that regard. Not sure about Flora's though. It might have happened on the MaGMML Discord, so IDK. Yeah, I mean, there's probably a whole story that you could actually investigate with it, but... You know. It's fine, it's not that big of a deal. Oh, okay, alright, I got... oh dear. Pranked, I guess. I did see a pathway over there, so let's try to drop down in that direction. I mean, I was about to say, it kind of makes... It's somehow both a little bit disappointing that the Rave's visuals are not crazier, although I suppose that's good because, man, that would hurt on the eyes, and then, yeah, the judges would probably not enjoy creating an accessibility issue. So, it's, yeah, simultaneously, I both appreciate that the Rave feels manageable on the eyes, but also, it doesn't exactly feel super Rave-like. It's a little bit dead. I expect something nauseating. Oh god, Solar Man, I thought I would see you from a mile away. It gets really busy up close to the stage like this, so I'm using my light to guide people. Also handing out flyers for my solar workout sessions. Here, take one. Did not take the solar workout flyer. And miss out on a key item? Come on, I'm gonna need that to access the solar workout dojo later, and that's where the final secret ultimate super boss is going to be. Crash. Crash, you idiot. Mine Exploration by Diego So1. Okay. Mine Exploration. Mine stages are maybe a bit of a dime a dozen, but, you know, see how well they could do with it. You know, visual effects need to be toned down for the public release. Yeah, it's completely good that it did not do crazy visuals. Okay, I guess this is the secret path to the side. I'm kind of surprised at the sheer number of people who actually wanted to use the Uranus blocks. Like, these are not exactly gimmicks that actually stick out in my mind when I think of Mega Man very much. Yet we've seen them in at least, like, probably 6 stages by now. Kind of wild. Alright, I mean, so far the stage is just kind of... It really does fit that dime a dozen mine level mold, so I'm not quite so sure how it got up this high. I mean, it's definitely, you know, solid, regular challenge, good use of dev kit assets. But it does maybe feel a tad underwhelming at this point. Alright, free Yashichi, I'll take it. And then this boss again. It's very weird how... There's very many things in this stage that are just making me feel like this is a lower tier stage than it should be. Or than it actually is. Is this a secret? Or is this a pit? Yeah, it's a secret. Okay. Oh, okay. That's a nice aesthetic change. I like that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Using a lot of simple setups. Very common theme to be going for. Enemies that for some reason the low tiers were absolutely obsessed with. Just a lot of unfortunate coincidences that kind of give it a weaker aesthetic than maybe it should be judged to have. That's death. That's a little mean. Oh wait, no, it's not death. Okay. Alright, good use of these platforms. They have the kind of weird horizontal sensing that you're getting there somehow. But it makes for a nice timed platforming challenge. I like how that one down there was bait, the one that I didn't actually jump on. It's good to not jump on that one. Actually test your thinking skills while you're doing platforming. Alright, this level is shaping up a lot more as I'm going forward like this. All the judges thought the 6 out of 10 stage actually makes sense. Yeah, averaging is a little strange like that. there are a surprising number of stages that just kind of got sunk by one or two judges not having the best opinion about it. Or not the, I didn't mean to say best opinion, I meant the highest opinion of it. Just personally disliking it. I dislike that rock setup a lot. The rocks are already a pain in the ass to get by. It didn't need to be worse. I mean, it is definitely good, though, that we have judges with a diversity of opinion on what makes for a good level, so it is just a shame that sometimes that means a good level got canned. I did not jump there because I was scratching my nose like an idiot. I thought I would have enough time. Okay, come on, drop another one. All right, let's go. This. Oh, see, yeah, like if the debris goes to the left, that's a very rude challenge to have to actually slide by. If it goes to the right, then you can just wait and slide. If it goes to the left, then, well, I don't know, you have to reset and wait again. Not my favorite. Okay, that was... sliding was not the right choice there. First impressions can be everything for judging experience through a level. It's why some of the least favorites don't make sense compared to other people's opinions. Got Hunter Tower, I think that one's universal. Yeah. Yeah, of course. I mean, if you get stuck playing this after the 8 billionth mine level that gets submitted, then yeah, it kind of shapes your opinion. Just like how I'm sure Ace Spark got really sick of extremely long levels by the time he got the Fu Man, or he got really sick of fortress levels by the time he got to, I don't know, any fortress level. So, makes total sense. So I think they had to replay things multiple times to actually give a judge score. I know that Flashman let on that there was a little bit more to his judging process than just his video recordings alluded to. Right, and then a Stone Man. At the very least, the Stone Man is spiced up with different elevations of platforming, which theoretically makes Power Stone a little bit harder to dodge, but since Stone Man mostly just does his, best jumping jack impression, like, didn't exactly change very much. Least favorite stages end up in tier 13 because of bad first impressions. Yeah, that's, interesting. Blade Man, any sharp edges have been appropriately safety-proof for all audiences to enjoy. Alright. A lot of playthroughs for each engine, they definitely call it doing a Buster-only run where applicable is one of them. Yeah, I mean, that's only fair. Like, you basically have to do that if you want to appropriately judge a level's technical design aspects, because otherwise it's not really much of a Mega Man stage. You get to things that could theoretically be alright, like the Akudama Empire Mothership, but, like, by the fact that you have to use Rush Jet to get through it, kind of makes it not a Mega Man stage, or, at the very least, makes it more of like a rough around the edges Mega Man 3, Mega Man 4 design of a Mega Man stage. Let's see. Pretty flat across the board. Wow, pretty high scores from Patchy and Flashman. I guess they really just appreciate the basics, huh? Let's see. Fine level. Appropriate for a cave. It's still interesting. The use of unusual options. I found the batons, the recurrent Pikmin were more effective than usual. Real Man Rocks and Pluto Girders work well together. Feel the difficulty curve for each segment. Props for the platforming before the gun drill and just for the last couple of runes for the boss. Said boss can get stuck. Well, that's just Stone Man. If there's anything I'd say is a weakness, is that a lot of enemies feel underutilized. I only ever remember seeing Gabule once. Found both Soshi Breaker and Carry Carry did very little for the level as a whole. To say what they did was bad, but they didn't do enough to stand out. In fact, that describes basically the entire upper path, because yes, this level has a split path. I guess I did notice it well, yeah, no, I did definitely notice it. I took the split path. The quote-unquote more secret option. Telegraph's like a bottomless pit, which is a crying shame because that Diarn's path got more interesting graphics, and the split path as a whole is probably one of the most smoothly implemented in the contest. There's a different gimmick emphasis from the top path, but you'll learn everything you need to know regardless, which is cool. Solid core level. It's not groundbreaking, but it's fun to play. For me, that's enough to do decently, but I'd hope to see something more interesting in the future. Version bosses, why I really don't care to fight Arcane and Aetherman again. Yeah, that at a certain point, if a boss makes me feel like, okay, I'm not bothering to do this Buster only, that's a problem. If I had to actually do the proper judge process and force myself to do Buster only, then I would have even worse opinions of those, well, maybe not Arcane Man, but definitely of Aether Man. Discharge Man, yeah, no, Discharge Man, not only was he absolutely breaking my ears in two, but also that fight was very annoying. It had way too much RNG for how often he was invincible, especially for how aggressive he then was otherwise. Let's see, average in the scheme of things. However, when you have average level that doesn't excel at one thing in particular, it brings a heavy risk of being boring. That's what unfortunately knocked the stage down so much for me. Yeah, I also got bored of the level too. So, I see what Shinryu was getting at here. The rest of the level design ends up suffering thanks to many of these segments, feeling way too easy. Enemy placement. Make most of them rather non-threatening. Even gimmicks get involved. It also makes the setups feel very samey after a while. The only enemy I could recall giving me any sort of trouble here was one Picket Man. Well, that Picket Man doesn't even reach you if you're staying at the top of the platforms either. Plus, you can then use it to iframe your way through, so it's also not great placement for that reason. Girder section found on the underground path are easily my most standout moments of the stage. Yeah, the girder section on the blue path was actually pretty nice. I really enjoyed that more. Mine says why I would consider Celestial and Ball the worst bosses in the game, at least going by the entries. No, Ball was not really a bad boss. I thought it was fine to fight. Just, it's just a waiting game. It's a bit different. It maybe doesn't engage the player too much, but at least makes you think slightly differently. Celestial Woman, no, I agree. Celestial Woman's just the worst. I hate that thing. I would rather, at least Aether Man as maybe more set patterns, it's a little bit more reasonable dodge. I will absolutely not fight Celestial Woman with Buster only in my entire life. That is a miserable decision. I have more interesting and better things to be doing with my life. Yeah, they're also classified as such because you're basically forced to choke tanks to get through them. Fun. Glad those made it up so high. Pretty short but sweet. I like the combination of the sinking platform, the rock dispensers used here. Challenges are fair. I don't really like the rock dispensers, but still. Falling platforms or pit sections is appreciated. Not have airborne enemies pursuing you for once. It's managed to be tense enough without the enemies still, thanks to the rock dispensers. The challenges could have been explained more if the time having put into the level creation process. Or expanded more, not explained more. While tiling the stage looks fine for the most part, some of the patterns work around the background, just a few breaking up here and there. Stoneman can get stuck. Oops. Don't find any breathtaking surprises here, but simplicity works to the advantage. Layout's intuitive. Graphics are clean. If there are any questions about what challenges want from the player, an alternative path provides a place for excess creativity to run amok without inflating the overall level length. Boss fight isn't some gonzo extravaganza, but a rather familiar fight with a meaningful twist. Good Mega Man level, these are the kinds of things you'd like to see. Not quite present here. First, clearly labeled pits. Second, transitions that restrict unnecessary backtracking and prevent goofballs like me from discovering new ways to die. Architecture that gives more of a buffer along the screen edges, avoiding situations with health bars obscuring things. And no way to slide onto spikes. All shortcomings are overcome by good checkpoint placement, a well-timed visit from Eddie, forceful challenge design. Bottom path is stronger than the top path. It's a little bit more eye-catching, tighter focus. Well, is it? Yeah, no, it definitely is. More enemy gimmick interactions with later girders, though. I don't think it would have hurt to leave Rush Jet and Magnet Beam enabled, especially when there's not a single weapon refill amongst the numerous item caches. Yeah, I mean, you always got to give the player the option to skip the challenge. That's what the original games do. The one spot where the boulders spawn on top of the two. Didn't notice that. How's level design? Get so many key element designs right. First thing is Celestial Moon is 3.5 bars of Buster and no tanks. That is a quite a feat. I mean, I'm sure with enough time, you could get further and beat it, but like at a certain point, it's just kind of like, why bother? There's better things you can do. Same best friend is harder, disingenuous, because yeah, her weakness is the exact same. So. Daily basic run-of-the-wheel mine theme stage. Whilst it doesn't exactly mark a brand new experience, you played one rock theme Mega Man level, you played it in this one. This also doesn't do much of the mate's objectionable, real positives. We backtrack, it's nice. Good difficulty curve, reasonably new ways. Just very average. Let's see. And he seemed like an afterthought. They're mostly just there to briefly inconvenience the player and never really prove a challenge. Yeah, I mean, most of them I just dispatch with a charge shot. Someone has new room feels undercooked. It doesn't benefit him. It makes an already easy fight even easier. I won't quite say even easier. Now you can't slide to get away from Stone Man so much, but it's not like it makes it that much difficult. It bumps Stone Man up from like a 2 to a 3 in difficulty. Hard to find alternate path? I don't know. I feel like it wasn't that hard to find. It looked like a screen transition. Secret one. Fine. Average. Yep. Not very memorable. I will probably forget this stage. I've only seen one person do it Buster only. They still need to chug at least one tank. Yeah, I'm sure it'll make for good content when somebody finally decides, okay, I'm going to spend all day grinding out Celestial Woman, do it Buster only, because I'm nuts. Hey, oi, how's about we blow this shindig and go to the pub down the street? And then the one down the corner, like, and the one 100 yards from there. Let's keep the dream going all night long. I don't have work tomorrow. Hey, Crash, me old Chuck, how about a few bottles of pop on me? Alright, that was probably the most interpretable thing that that Forge Woman has ever said. I actually understood that entirely. I love dancing. Alright, well, straight and to the point. We like that. Person's me, I'm the masochist is gonna try that. I will, if you do that, I will absolutely share the video to the best of my ability. Because that sounds entertaining and commendable as all hell. Creating the wily sewer system. Oh hey, it's sewers. You like sewers, right? Let's go into the sewer. Alright. Let's see. Are we going to just have all Mets again, like the original level concept? Or okay, no. So we are at least deviating away from that. So not an immediate bonk towards the inspirations score. I will say it's maybe. Wow, that goes a lot faster than the original. Alright, well, we have a good gimmick introduction for the Shadow Man platforms, for anybody who hasn't somehow seen them before. I was just thinking, if I wasn't bothering to stream this game, there was maybe a small part of me that would want to play the stages in a random order. I feel like that would be a fun way to experience MaGMML in a kind of with a fresh mindset. Just play it in any random order and hope that the worst stage is not the one you have to play last. All right, pop-ups are generally regrettable enemies to include in your stage, and wow, I am really despising the choice of that pop-up enemy. Why would you choose the one that shoots and makes it actively worse to platform afterwards? That is a bold choice to do. Like, that's just rude. That's mean. That's malicious. It took over 200 attempts to perfect run Brightman and MaGMML3. It's just not in my realm. Definitely not going to try perfect running Celestial Woman. Not that masochistic. Yeah, no, totally not. Totally not. But, I mean, you would be probably the only person in the world to bother to do something like that. It would be so cool. Please don't do that. You definitely have better things to be doing with your life and time. I wouldn't want to have anybody play that stage again. that was a decent use of the cannon enemy. I actually had to watch where I was sliding. I like that. So far, the platforming setups are good. I mean, they're treacherous, they're fast, and, or not treacherous, they're perilous, they're fast, but they're also maybe not too nerve-wracking for somebody who's very familiar with the Mega Man series. Someone who's just willing to go. Alright, nice. I like playing Chex Quest. I actually don't quite know how, I mean, I don't know. I've seen Chex Quest gameplay. It looks similar enough to Doom to me, but there's probably some subtleties that I'm not quite getting there. Where it's like, well, actually, no, there's probably something miserable that I don't remember. Ow. Alright, this is a pretty good deviation on Sparkman. Not too crazy difficult, but it definitely makes for a much more different fight than what we're used to. And he's actually able to navigate the arena pretty well, which I'm a little bit surprised with, honestly. Sparkman does not exactly strike me as a very mobile robot master, yet he's able to, you know, get through all that with relative ease. I mean, yeah, it is literally based off of Doom's code. It's pretty obvious, but... good jumping on point for Boomer Shooters because of how easy it is. Okay. I thought it was going in the opposite direction with that comment for some reason. That was like, there was some part that was insanely hard for some reason. Like, imagine selling a Doom clone in your kid's cereal box, and it's actually the most, like, hair-pulling thing possible. That would be, oh no, that would be like if Chex Quest was released today, you could do that and like turn it into an extreme microtransaction bait. Oh no, I've just come up with the most evil thing in the world. That's the most evil thing in the world. Start putting games back in kids' cereal boxes, getting them hooked on it, and then including microtransactions in them, which only work by like getting more codes out of ripping that cereal box apart and like, oh look, you got a code from like purchasing another box of tricks. Hippie, purchase 50 more to be able to purchase this in-game, like, you know, bunny hat. That's the worst thing in the world. Why have I conceived of this? Why have I put this out into the world? I hope nobody's listening to this. Halo. Yeah, I am suggesting Halo 4 for kids. That would be, that's apparently the idea that just came out of my mouth. I hope to be put down now for even uttering that thought to the world. Yikes. Let's get Chex Quest 3 instead. It includes both Chex Quest 1 and 2. Alright, good advice. This level exists, decent variety of enemies, good set of gimmicks, challenges that do increase in complexity as you can progress. I will say, this level was probably about as simple as the last one, but it left me less bored overall. So, I don't know. I do agree with being a little bit higher up. I enjoyed this one more. Small variations of precarious jumps the whole way through. The enemy set isn't much better off, as the vast majority are easy pickings, even with the Buster. The Tarnayapa, okay, is kind of an exception, but that's mostly because its one section is irritating enough to upset what difficulty there is. I'll give props to Be Bitter underwater, since if your charge shot isn't on point, it could be an actual threat for Be Bitter. That's amazing. 3 other things to talk about. The level would genuinely have benefited from some tokens. I guess, but it's fine. Also true of the one-up joke. I can't say I particularly care about it, but then again, it would have landed better if there was a more serious incentive to go down there. Yeah, I guess, I mean, Alright, Mick, fair point. I didn't even look at these things, so yeah, they could have used tokens there instead. So everyone's got a decent fight going with the drop platforms and wheels making a slightly more interesting battlefield, but why is Sparkman guarding a sewer system? Wouldn't that be potentially hideously dangerous? That's the point, so that way he can shock intruders. He just didn't do so because he was catching up on his soap operas. He didn't realize that I was coming in. Good remix of Wildlife Mega Man 4, probably better than that stage, to be honest. I mean, I liked how that stage was just all Mets. I find that cute, but it definitely, it was more engaging and also didn't have like an annoying 4-block wide underwater jump with spikes above and spikes below, so I could just keep my momentum.
So, yeah, this is a little bit more enjoyable, I guess. Though I do enjoy the theming of the original Mega Man stage, Mega Man 4 stage more. Not exactly interesting, doesn't do anything awful either. Structure is decent, doesn't overstay its welcome, gimmicks are used well. Carefully introduced to the player, it should really be the up and down styled ones. Oh, that's what those things are. Yeah, that's upsetting, very much so. I was complaining about that the moment I saw them. One moment aside, there wasn't really anything else that stood out as bad. Is there anything good as well? Doesn't really do anything else to elevate itself above average. Sparkman fights in the part I call interesting, since it mixes things up with the two main gimmicks of the stage. Adds a bit more to an otherwise vanilla Robot Master fight, ultimately not enough to make the little stand out. Agreed. Insert sewer joke here. I'll go back to Mega Man 4 Wily 1, even out of the tile set and music, an underrated aesthetic combo, so I quite appreciate the appreciation. A nifty and fun little stage, difficulty's just right. Favorite part is where the player has to slide in and passage and slide in and passage and outlure the cannon enemy to pop up. Okay, I understood what you were attempting to say there. Holy shit, I just had an aneurysm. Someone's vulnerable to attack. I also like the conveyor belts and drop platforms you see throughout the stage being incorporated in the boss arena. Side challenge paths to the tanks are reasonable too. Wouldn't mind if you had swapped them for tokens. The talking one-up is strange. Huh. I might have to go back for dialogue at some point. You will now have bad luck for the rest of this review. I'm kidding. Hopefully. It may not be the flashiest or most groundbreaking level, but this demonstrates a firm grasp of good game design principles. Learning curve is just right. Challenges are reasonable and fair after the poppers. Power-ups are doled out at a good pace. Level length is perfect. Varied architecture keeps the player from avoiding too much of the challenge by using special weapons. Small challenge arcs give the level a sense of structure. Checkpoints are smartly placed after each arc, though their unusually high frequency somewhat diminishes the difficulty. Didn't notice them, but yeah. Combine the main gimmicks with the boss you'd least expect to find in the sewer. More of that ironic humor. Could have punched things up nicely. Level could use more character. The aesthetics are terrific, but they're copy-pasted from Mega Man 4 without alteration. And the sewer vibe stems solely from the tile set. Gimmicks are used well, but the one platform at a time approach starts to feel samey by the end. Unusual platform configurations, like a column of drop platforms, a staircase of conveyors. More enemy involvement towards the end. I can't believe I'm saying this, but why only one Hammer Joe would have gone a long way. Yeah, I suppose when you have things that require movement or respond to your movement as gimmicks, then it would have made sense to actually have a Hammer Joe to threaten you on the Shadow Man platforms or the conveyors. Feels like a Capcom level, polished and deliberate. Jumping in and out of water physics while navigating gimmick platforms is a clever way to mess with the player's head. Bucapelli guarding the weapon refill leverages the respawning mechanic nicely. Be Bitter used consistently excellent. The level is too safe perhaps, but solid. This is actually a really enjoyable sewer level. Kudos then. Yep. See? They're not all bad. The point of remaking levels in this sort of fashion is to introduce something original. Okay, Spark, yes, we get it. It's... You don't have to go put in such verbose length saying, hey, this is not that original. But, whatever. That seemed out of place, but this is one of the Wily levels. This is a good thing. That being said, it's not offensive. Wasn't much challenge. Every so often there's fun to be had. Two chosen gimmicks are mechanically similar. My major negative is that thing. Maneuver and spawn too quickly to be comfortable. Several side rewards. Idealist tokens. Found both ether eggs. They weren't funny. Come on now. Weirdly, the highlight of the stage was the dev kit boss, as the room layout and gimmicks added a decent twist to the Sparkman battle. It's a glitch with the Shadow Man platform and the energy elements, which you can send flying across the stage. Not really a problem, but I did find it pretty funny. Final positive, your stage looks really well tiled. Definitely nailed the look of the source stage, something that several recreation stages in this contest fail hard at. Yeah, no, it did actually use quite a good variety of the original tiles, so that's nice. But yeah, overall, I don't know, maybe not the most memorable level, but I had fun at least platforming my way through it. It was a dynamic experience in that regard. Oh, hey, other Gemini men. This is getting ridiculous. Now there are 3 of them. I hate dancing. I, for one, am neutral towards the act of dancing. I I didn't know we could get 3 Gemini Man at once. You must got an upgrade. Make a good remix level contest. Yeah, exactly. You could definitely judge everything on its own merits through that. Alright. Water drinking. Weapon data center. Ooh, okay. I have high hopes for this. This is something that sounds more like a, okay, you're going to be downloading several different weapons, you have to cycle through them. Or maybe it's a bit of a Mega Man 10 weapons archive throwback. This was Fracture doing post-game. I'll have to check back in on that. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't teleport in. I fell in. So let's see. Most things are in fact disabled. That makes complete sense. Is there something up here? Okay, no reason for this to be... Oh, I guess that's a gate. Alright. Alright, let's play. This is exactly the kind of gimmick that I was hoping to see. Judge scores across the board. That's a good sign. Alright, so these are fragile? Okay, these are fragile. Did that lock me out of my normal gun? No, it didn't. Okay, so we're going to have a nice gradual build-up of things here. Oh, hi, almost punk. Hi, almost commando man. Do you actually aim downwards? Okay, you do. Ow. Oh, hey. Almost missed this. Alright. Looks like the floor is a little broken here. Anything... Okay. Well, this is interesting for the enemy selection. It's going to be a remix of bosses. I kind of like that. Was there another broken wall down there? No, it's just a normal wall. Okay, well the bosses are... Okay, I really, like I said, I did just say I really do like the use of bosses remixed as normal enemies. They do still look a little bit too similar to their original counterparts. My eyes keep thinking like, oh, that's just Nightman, or oh, that's just Punk. Like, it's a little bit of a... It's a little bit of the spriting could have used a little bit more situation. Like, I mean, it's... At this point, it's very predictable, but, like, just use Joe's. Make things look like Joe's, and it'll be hard to, you know, forget that they're not the actual Robot Master. Right, I don't know. When in doubt, go left. Alright, anything over here? It's like kind of weird near the stage on the previous use tokens anywhere. It feels like there could have been an opportunity for at least a couple. Yeah, especially in this stage where you are literally playing with the special weapons constantly, where it's like, okay, well, I probably should be, you know, looking for stuff all the time. Oh, there's nothing here. Okay, that's odd. Very good music, though. This is probably the first stage in a while where I've actually noticed the music. Helps provide a very solid energy to things. On a restroom, how considerate. No, not a restroom, but a restroom. Restroom? You get it. We're not fighting Toilet Man quite yet. Like Joe's, you want to be reminded of Worthless Man? You know, not in particular, but, you know, Worthless Man didn't invent everything looking like Joe's. We can't let one bad actor spoil my fun. Or my sense of aesthetic conveyance. Maybe make them look like Mets, if anything. Or what about, like, I don't know, random navies from, like, the Battle Network series? There's ways to do this. While it is, going back to the earlier point, it is definitely a little bit awkward that there is no, tokens in these next couple of stages, or these last couple of stages. It is kind of nice to just not have to secret hunt after having several stages that were just 5 tokens each. There's a certain pleasure to just being able to play a Mega Man level. Oh, that's fun. I didn't even notice that was Anchor. For some reason, that registers Wave Man. But there's a certain, you know, enjoyment to being able to just play a Mega Man level, zone out, and not have to constantly be looking for stuff. Wait a minute, why would I be doing this? I have Water Shield. I kind of like that the Elect Beam is bait. It would just make way more sense to use Water Shield on this boss. Alright, I don't know, let's go right. Suppose it doesn't actually matter. I'm sure there's no tokens to miss. Jump. Water Shield's actually getting some use. It's still definitely going to be my least used weapon, but it's actually serving a purpose in this level so far. So that's different. Alright, Elect Beam time though. Too many Susies. Kind of prefer the non-Joe look, they're a little less similar. Yeah, it definitely is a little bit more probably for like the inspiration points aspects of things. Or the originality points aspect of things, but I don't know, they still look just a little bit too similar to their original incarnations for me. It just kind of looks like I'm fighting, you know, Gemini Man or Night Man. And, at least at a quick glance. There needs to be some extra element of contrast for me. Alright, I like how the level is starting to ask me to use my special weapons more intelligently. Rather than just use the one that was most recently given to me, I should actually think about which one's most appropriate for the situation. Actually quite a nice touch. I'm sure Flashman's also going to have glowing reviews of this stage for the, you know, encouragement of special weapons. Okay, you still do fire something. Oh, no, wait, you don't. You just put out a shield. Okay, anything else that needs refill? Spark Chaser. Oh, the older entries have to say Water Shield's a lot more useful than I was expecting. Finding out Water Shield feels like it's the worst weapon in your arsenal. It's not even that bad. Yeah, I mean, like, Water Shield's my second favorite shield in the entire Mega Man series. It's right behind Junk Shield, and for the exact same reasons why Junk Shield is good. Water Shield's just a little bit more balanced version of Junk Shield, to be quite honest. At least in my opinion, it is. And so it's, yeah, it only feels bad just because... Oh, okay, sweet. It only feels kind of rough to use just because a lot of the other weapons are, I don't know, better at dispatching of small enemies. Like, there's a lot of things that get rid of small enemies before you do. And then, I don't know, people don't... When people start to projectile spam, it's not really fun in the first place. Stop right there. You will go no further than this. Wait, don't attack me. I'm not one of them. I came to... I don't care who you are. I'm not going to take any chances with you. Now, prepare yourself. I think that was at least like 6 different video game lines all in one. Ooh. Ooh, hello. Speaking of cool shield bosses... Alright. No great way of dodging that, but I'm getting... In a very good sense, I'm getting Sheriff Man vibes, because the shield is being used in a very interesting offensive manner, and it's not just constantly up most of the time. I'm not quite sure how to dodge that, though. That was a very tight jump. As I Firestorm's a shield weapon, it's my second favorite shield. I could argue that I would argue that Firestorm is in fact a shield weapon. It's a very of an unconventional one. But... Hello there. May I know why you're here? I've been warned that Wily was So, shall we begin? I don't know how to feel about this. Yeah, the fact that I'm being taunted now on second play, but I do like the swagger. So. Yeah, this feels like a very fun boss to actually learn how to do. I could maybe just use a little bit more of a tell on that attack where he's just splitting up the shield, but it's something I can get used to. And it's a fun remix of a familiar boss theme. Why did I? Okay. I'm throwing now. Okay, that really hit me. Hit my little pinky toe. Me and my little piggy. I do wish that the boss took 3 damage from the Buster, just because that's more of the standard for Mega Man length. The boss is maybe feels a little bit tanky as a result. Nice. I'm not done yet. Stop. You're way too damaged to continue. Listen, I'm here to secure the place from Wily's robots. What? You here to help us? Let's see. Guess I was a bit hasty on my assumptions. Enjoyed fighting you. Sorry if this is not the appropriate time for this. What's your name? My name's Crash. I'm Hodenki. Hodenki. Nice to meet you. Strong robot, I can feel it. Hope we can battle each other some other day. You okay? You sound like you're gonna have a Mega Man X explosion. Someone get this man an L tank, quickly! That was... yeah. I love this guy. Yeah, definitely amount. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't quite call the stage dull. To me, there was at least something extra to it. I like the, revolving around the special weapons. But yeah, this was a very, very good boss. I'm going to be able to remember this one for quite a while going forward. That is an uncannily smooth animation for the mouth and eyes moving on this character. Thank you. Did they stop? Who are you? Crash, here to help the people who's trapped in this facility. Where's Hodenki? Where's my robot? I was forced to fight. Defeated him. You defeated him? Gasp shock. Destroy him? Didn't destroy him. He is heavily damaged. Really? Thank goodness I may be able to repair him. Blah, blah, blah. They're in my lab. Worry, it's not too far away from here. That weapon ship there. Hodenki's weapon, the discharge barrier. It becomes useful for you in the future. Think of it as a reward. What's your name? Sweet. Nice way to use the energy element. And maybe just a feeling there's an alternate weapon for this guy. But get more interesting things with the special weapons. Stands are kind of high, playing by the rooms of weapons back to tier 9. Yeah, I mean, I mean, I don't know. Wily's Rooms of Weapons, I think it mostly just asked you to use the special weapons in a way that you broke blocks in the correct order. I wouldn't quite classify that as interesting use of special weapons, but I mean, it was, a good puzzle stage. For this, yeah, I could still see the complaint, though, that it wasn't exactly clever use of special weapons. It was just, hey, here's special weapons being introduced at mostly convenient times. Then start using your brain to use them. So I guess it could have been improved a little bit more. But, for what it was definitely a fun way to say, like, hey, special weapons, organic usage in the stage, go use them. And then, yeah, Hodenki, excellent boss. But it does maybe feel like somebody is a little bit, in the same way that there was maybe some pandering from Fu Man's author to try to get some stuff included in the game. Maybe this is a bit of a forward way of suggesting, hey, maybe add me as an alter weapon to the game? Question mark? Fingers pointed together? Let's see. More like missed opportunity. Yeah, that is very agreeable. As far as weapon theme levels go, this is decent. Like, they deal with building your arsenal as you advance. Split paths influencing your final arsenal is a decent idea, though I wish it was an informed choice. Yeah, I mean, ultimately ending up with the weapons I did at the end was a little bit unusual. Putting 6 weapon tutorials into a normal size level means it spends a lot of time on teaching, less time on using. In fact, most of the level is just enemy challenges that the Buster could punch through without much issue. Laser Trident section is the core exception, with a section that uses interesting enemy combinations while simultaneously encouraging weapon use. To be Laser Trident, the section I didn't see. Yep. I'd say there isn't a level here. Enemy set is cool, kind of like a cosplay convention of Robot Masters. Some of them were quite useful, namely Punk and Wave Man. It's a bit dull. Nightman's painfully easy to pick off. Anchor's only threat if you get severely trigger happy. However, the biggest weakness is how often some of the enemies are used. Some of them luck out. Skullman being a good bodyguard. Others like Commander Man are too infrequent to be useful. Samey in application. Yeah. As for the gimmicks, it's mainly conveyor belts and spark get generators. Conveyor belts are standard fare, but the generators are a nice twist. How they're handled varies wildly on the split paths. The Nolan paths, denoted with pink yawn veins, don't really expand on the assets, making it a little boring, but the extra paths, denoted by orange yawn veins, put in the necessary work to create cool challenges using the gimmicks. Beyond that, the spark generators tend to bleed into the tiles, making it harder to see where you'll need to start dodging. Thankfully, not impossible. At least 8-Bit Fan didn't demand anything from their submission. Yeah, that's true. There was no demands there, like automatic assumptions. It was more of like a, teehee, look, you get a weapon chip. I guess, you know, plot could continue if this was an individual level in the game. Dialogue here fits better. Oh, yeah, no, the dialogue here is on point. It absolutely makes sense as something that you would hear in the Mega Man series. It's casual. It's got a little bit of the kind of like, hey, whoa, you're just making a mistake. And then they kind of be friends afterwards, and the doctor seems to be nice and concerned about his creation. Absolutely fits the dialogue. It's not over the top insane anime everything like Aether Man's was. Oopsie, D-pad. Pretty entertaining with the right paths. No, it's not forced weapons usage. Okay, boss. Okay, boss. I like his variety of attacks. Good deal, more interesting than most shield bosses. He doesn't take enough damage to match his vulnerability time, a problem common to most shield bosses. Yeah, he could have used to take 3 damage instead of 2. Consistently dodges running attack, though the rest of it is easy enough to figure out. It is just a well-timed jump. As a whole, level's decent, not groundbreaking, focus a bit too much on tutorials, still fun. Just don't know why those joke intros exist. Joke intros? I mean, I guess to have to refight Hideki, but firstly, just say thank you for not putting any tokens in the stage, given the way it's set up. Yeah, it would have been not great. Let's see. Seems like a better idea. That said, isn't without its faults, like the general idea, execution. Yeah, alright. Could use a little work. Overall room layout's not bad. Complements the conveyor belts. Lack of a difficulty curve. Yeah, it did kind of feel mostly the same throughout. Not really bad, just a bit on the bland side. The lesser Robot Master type enemies do breathe a bit of life into the stage, at least for a little bit. Fun to look at and fight against, the novelty wears off. Yeah. Split playthroughs also suffered a bit with this as well. Also with the decisions for which weapon to get. Once you realize that Laser Trident is the most effective weapon to use on the boss, and a good chunk of the enemies, there's little incentive to avoid the path it's on. That sounds like just the exact problem that the entire weapon set for the game has. Maybe Laser Trident was not a good idea to have as in the arsenal. Denki's easily the best part of the stage. Shield-focused bosses fight is really well put together, good telegraphs. Each of his moves are threatening without being too difficult to avoid, with the slight exception of him just walking around with it. Yeah, it's a bit big. Be memorable, largely thanks to his opening dialogue and the variations you can get if you lose to him. The stage itself is a bit of a mixed bag. I really like the idea behind it. The boss manages to salvage it by a good amount. Got a kick out of the intros. Yeah, definitely makes it a little less awful to have to replay the fight. Now that the review portion is over, one final little side note to address regarding the end of the level. Keep in mind that what I'm going to bring up here didn't affect the level score. Rather, I'm using this as an opportunity for a bit of a PSA, specifically those of you who want to drop hints at potential extra content that will be adapted from this level into your main game. Simply put, don't. The kind of decision up to the dev team to make, not you. Just because you have a well-designed Robot Master fight doesn't automatically mean it'll get represented with an ultra weapon or a skin. In fact, trying to push this via hints, dialogue, side quests, or whatever else is more likely to make your request ignored. Focus on making a good, fun, unique level, let the dev team handle the extra stuff. Yep, agreed. Crazy thing, Kodenki, I think, has 3 or 4 different intro sequences. I definitely remember getting a different one when I first fought him. Good old Laser Trident. Nothing beats that. Yeah. Interesting. I managed to get more of a serious dialogue when I first fought Hodenki, so it almost felt like I got the jokes part of a, scripted sequence, but... No, I mean, it definitely helps a little bit of replay value, more personality. Let's see. Where you act like a raving lunatic. And, okay, it might be worth revisiting this in my personal time to see what, crackhead energy he brings to the table. Main enemies, for example, basically they have various boss attacks being implemented. Okay. Bosses that were chosen, a lot of the roles are overlapping, like Nakeman, Anchor, and Skullman, all filling the shield role. Together as a boss replica accompanied by one of the shield bosses mentioned. It gets stale and repetitive. Counter the Nightman enemy a lot, as he always seems to be guarding a room exit. Meanwhile, there are Joe enemies in the stage 2 for extra shield padded and glory. He's walking through with all the stalling that occurs. The electric ball gimmick. I really don't like how the spawners merge in the tile set. It took me a little while to realize that, yeah, but I don't know. I think that's fine. Readability being hindered. I'd be willing to sacrifice that a little bit for aesthetics. Weapons that you come across, since the stage doesn't really convey their functions. Switch back to the Buster. They just aren't relevant enough. Just, what the? He's dabbing now? Oh, no. Oh, no. Was there a fifth dabbing, or a fourth actual dabbing robot master in this contest? So the intros are fine. This seems really unnecessary, especially after you defeat him. It gives this dramatic exchange. Take me seriously. Mega Man edit. Dialogues also started rather seriously, but thankfully tones down. Felt really awkward. Nah, I didn't think so. Cool at first. A little repetitive. I like the music. I thought it was quite nice. Do I hear 5? 5 dabbing robot masters. 5! Let's jump right in. The aesthetics and architecture feel professional. There will definitely have to be a supercut of all dabbing in this game at some point. I will have to make a video at the very end summarizing all that. Summarizing things like the number of chicken dances I managed to perform, or enemies clipping through walls, or tiles missing, and dabbing references to dabbing. This is never unfair or overly difficult. Conveyors and sparks are a decent combo. Checkpoints and power-ups are generous. They're not what bugged me most. I'm sorry, this is going to be a rant, really. So you're gradually building an arsenal of special weapons. Awesome. The level isn't designed around the inherent limitations or unique properties of your arsenal. Break Dash knocks down a wall or two. Ice Wall floats in water, which is never relevant again. Considering the premise, the level is it's buster friendly to a fault. Agreed. I mean, I don't know, I never felt compelled to pull out the buster again, but I guess everybody else is having more fun with just blasting enemies normally. It's challenging to remain constant complexity and difficulty. The level keeps getting easier as more weapons are unlocked. Break, dash, and laser trident make short work of the copious enemies that stand around blocking your path. I like the bosses enemies concept. Too much ability overlap. More versatile enemies are used infrequently in places that don't take full advantage of their attack patterns. Yep. Icing on the frustration cake? Really? How is he a weapon data guardian? The ending dialogue with Huh is the last straw. It sounds like we're going to use Hiddenki's power to get the tools from the lab, but then the level just ends. Either confusing or presumptuous. Yeah. Not a bad level of enemies, but man, does it press all the wrong buttons. 4 horsemen of the Dabpocalypse: Airman, Darkman, Dr. Regal, and Hiddenki. And then the 5th secret horseman of the Dabpocalypse. The scrapped entry from Funbangs. Another long one. It's a rather odd case. That wasn't too long. Massive misunderstanding of how the unlocks are handled in past magmals. Happens, but at the end of the day, it isn't going to be unlockable. Reasons why not are fairly obvious. Entrance forcing us to include unlocks is not a precedent we ever want to set. Meta element isn't affecting the score for me, and I don't have anything to add about it until the end of the review. Out of the way, guys, clearly a ton of effort. It's a cute concept. And the level has some actual life in the animation. Aesthetically, it's grand and upgrading your arsenal over time. Here manages to avoid the trite bad attempt at a Metroidvania in a level design contest. It seems to be a recurring nemesis the MaGMML judges. Right, not forcing that with multiple endpoints. This feels like a deliberate method of avoiding the increasingly overused trope of level where you collect and get locked into weapons. Routine by the numbers. Sound like the Night Minion and Anchor Minion are almost utterly useless as an enemy, feeling more like time waste as an actual threat. Yeah, I never really found those two interesting, definitely. Collecting weapons so that the stage feels equally worthless. Once I feel some more horse weapon usage could have made upgrading feel worthwhile. There's so few instances where the weapons have an impact. Haven't normally mentioned dev kit mid-bosses unless they're egregious, and frankly, Suzak and Phoenix are. They really felt like a pointless addition thrown in just for the sake of it. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, that was the first point where I realized, hey, wait a minute, don't just use the item that they're giving me, but still. You know, Elect Beam works well enough on Suzak and Phoenix anyway, so that point not even be made, and, you know, might not get across to the player. One route has the world's smallest water segment. The climate conveyors rise to the challenge for ending on a whimper. Qualities ends up a little dull and predictable. It's a real shame. I wanted to like it. Odenki, you like them. His weakness is the only required weapon in the level. He is a hard fight, but a player isn't left in the cold, forced to E-tank if they just can't deal with him. Good. Good suite of attacks. Learn his tells. Would have liked the personality offers more, especially the overconfidence by the lying down animation, but I think in your rush to show off all his quirks left me rather irritated the cutscene keeps repeating and repeating. It's not endearing to keep trying to perfect the fight, which has its own problem. Walking attack has a huge hitbox and quickly corners the player. Yeah, that one was a little tough. The attacks, I said, interesting. Discharge barrier seemed like they'd make an ideal contest weapon. In spite of the crap walking attack, I did like Hodenki, like his attacks. Without that blunder I mentioned in the beginning, there's a good chance Hodenki's weapon would be a shoo-in. Yeah, you just don't want to imply it. Shame. I'm gonna talk about Despacito, man. He's non-canon. He's the director's cut of MaGMML3. He belongs there. Everyone's gonna be like, oh my god, I can't believe you didn't include him. Hey Presto, what's up? I'm thinking of testing this platform's limits, spinning around real fast on it, see how long it takes until I get flung off, bash into a wall. If they hit the platform whine, you'd think they were alive or something. Okay, the actual Rockman. I mean, hey, it's a decent attempt to use a pun. I like it. Spin. Alright, so we kind of got another mine type aesthetic level. Also one that's heavily using the Mega Man Conjure from the Future aesthetics. Okay, is this thing gonna pop out at me from the eyes? Is this just... No, this is just background. Okay, I was fully expecting something from like Wario Land 4 has weird fish behind like a sewer grate that will just try to eat you if you walk in front of it. Or similar to like how Banjo-Kazooie has like the same thing. I was fully expecting that to pop out from the background. Hey, speaking of spinning, this take me anywhere, or is this just this bonus? That was bonus. Okay, didn't need to even interact with that. And oddly, that top doesn't respawn. Huh? Oh no, it does. It just takes its sweet time. I'm not sure if I like the aesthetic of this construction site more or less than the previous mine level. The rocks kind of just look like worms. It makes me slightly uncomfortable. Not to any significant degree, but to a extent of, I don't know, they don't look like rocks. It's kind of off-putting. This is a fun use of tops, though. It's a good use of just the vanilla tops to use them like Waveman platforms. Ah, okay. Kind of a different, an alteration on the dust blocks. Okay, so there is a laser trident around here somewhere. Stage normally it's alright, not a fan of how it handles its collectibles, namely the tokens. Alright. We'll see how obscure the tokens feel to me, and then we'll, you know, be the judge of that. Ow. Anything up here? Okay. Nothing up there. Alright. I like the music. There's something about it that is kind of charming, even if it is a bit repetitive. Why would you do it this way? Okay. Ooh, that's cool. I mean, it doesn't really make sense that the top blocks are damaging this thing, but it's at least a cool interaction. Oh, so this was the main path. Alright, let's go back. Do I want to go this way? Ow, out of the way, bird. Hello, thing? From Challenger from the future? Again, just happens to be another victim of using Challenger from the future assets when every, like, Tier 2 stage decided, hey, you know what I'm gonna use? A little strange. Okay, so left is gonna go back on the path. To the right over here must be more. Intruders steal weapons stored here and get caught. Said weapons will return to their original places. Okay, so don't die. I'll use an E-Tank, why not? Mini boss name is Stompy. Alright. Good to know. Not what I would expect for a boss with conveyors for feet, but I guess it's apt enough. Alright, an odd thing to have to backtrack through using utilities, but we have the laser Triton now, so we can get through this. Testing environment for the Magnet Beam platform. Authorized personnel only. Okay. Gimme, gimme. I want Magnet Beam. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum. It is a little bit strange to have to backtrack, I guess, for these collectibles. It would just make more sense to make them a little bit secret. Doesn't exactly bother me heavily. It's just kind of, I don't know, a little odd. Although, I guess I am now considering the fact that if I die, I completely lose both Laser Trident and Magnet Beam. And that's not going to be fun when eventually the Magnet Beam secret is like way later in the level or something. I think I'm seeing the problem with this. Second token, you have to retread. Yep. Just got that. Oh, wow. Spark Chaser really destroys these things, huh? Oh, I made a bad decision. Okay, good. Saved it. Guess how I know that? Oh, I don't know. Maybe you just read it on the wiki, right? No misery here. I mean, okay. Was it even entirely necessary for me to get Magnet Beam for this? I guess not. Maybe there's another thing that Magnet Beam gets used for? Clearly. Always look on the bright side of life. Did it. Okay. Invalidated by having a charge shot. Don't exactly need to do anything clever with the platform. I feel like I should have just slid through that without issue. But okay. That looks like a secret up there. Hold on, I need more time to think. Tornado Blow, get rid of this annoyance for me. Okay. We'll line this up perfectly. Sure, why not? I'm sure I'm overcomplicating things again, but... of course, there's nothing there. But do it once in Fu Man stage, do it everywhere else. Worst, needing to keep a weapon without dying is just as bad as needing to keep a key with you. Yeah, it's... Well, yeah, it's essentially the same thing at that point. Just make me get a key instead of having to get the weapons again. It's not like Laser Triton or Magnet Beam particularly break this level in half. Oh. Didn't expect that, but that should have made sense, actually. Could have just had the tops get rid of the rock for me. Okay. Oh, invincible enemies now. Oh, and kind of nauseating auto-scroll speed. I hate that enemy from Mega Man 9. It's used so abundantly, and the rocks it produces are so annoying. I don't ever need to see that minecart enemy be used again in my life. Tough jump. This one... Oh dear, that's demanding. Okay, it stops auto-scrolling at just the right time before it gets a little bit too mean. And that's annoying if you don't shoot them. Yeah, but they're almost always placed in small corridors where you kind of have to shoot them, so... Alright, well... Oh, hi, Concrete Man. Get past this tunnel, but it seems to be the end of the line. Oh, by the way, the creator wanted me to thank you for playing the stage. Hooray! Alright, well, there really wasn't much of a point in keeping Magnet Beam, so why is that challenge even there? There you are, you filthy thief. Excuse me, who are you? You don't know me? I'm the almighty Rockman. I'm the one who copied your name from. My name's actually Crash. Don't try to fool me, international release. Harsh words. You are based on the Rockman model built in Japan. Wouldn't it be easier to just sue me? Actually, it would. But I would be happier making you explode, Crash Twerp. Hey, you can't do extrajudicial killings. The law says that's illegal. I love my pet rock. So teleporting out after getting the elements. Go for my trap. Oh, it's the real Rockman. Copy device. Now I've got your power. Now you're stealing my lines. Create that line before you even knew about it. It's time for me to punish you. Great, but violence is better. Look, that may be true. And that's where I'll end the statement. Okay. Interesting. Awful. Don't knock me on my ass. That's the most obnoxious enemy attack possible. Okay, so I need to fake it out with a short hop. Water shield's definitely the best use for this phase. Okay, Laser Trident. Okay, that's your weakness. And it deals solidly with... Okay, that's a lot. That's a lot of bullets to be putting on screen at once. Ever seen him use the magnetic shockwave attack? Yeah, first time for everything. Oh, of course, the weakness is the one that is locked behind dying. Okay, I see why that's irritating now. Fought this guy like 12 times. Huh. That is insane bad luck to not have gotten that. Alright, a lot of dialogue to have to skip through on H-Death, so that is definitely an issue. Also, you know, 2 health bars. Come on. Oh, okay, so you're just invincible now. I have to wait. I mean, I guess I could use maybe Break Dash. Yeah, 1 damage. Absolutely worth doing. Okay, Spark Chaser. Sounds like Hornets for some reason. Okay, you can't really just summon Spark Chasers on me low like that. That's really hard to lead. Oh my goodness. That's a lot more lethal than Splash Woman ever was. Alright, I guess the Buster's the most effective thing to use on this for DPS. This is definitely the phase that's giving me the most anxiety. I do not like having to jump over shaking ground. Oh, see, this is the most interesting one. Where the heck was this earlier? Why isn't this being showcased more? Skip the health. Unskippable cutscene. 2 health bars, a ton of attacks that either make him invincible or just plain disappear. This boss is frustrating to fight. Yeah, definitely agreed. There's issues with that. Not my favorite for those parts. But, I mean, a decent enough concept. Kind of funny. Just wish that the one laser trident wasn't locked behind not dying to the boss ever. That's frustrating. And then 2 is just like some of the attacks are a lot more interesting than others, and the fact that Tornado Blow actually bothers to use the gimmicks from the rest of the stage while the other ones don't kind of feels underwhelming, or makes the other weapons suddenly just feel extremely underwhelming. Dragonflies, walking bells, birds spinning top sharks, I guess, and they're all inside a mineral mine with slow music and creepy eyes. Eccentric decisions, found it fun. Difficult gimmicks and enemies got twisted around its welcome sight with a lot of interesting surprises. Both the dragonflies and Carry felt more interesting than usual. The bird enemies were great options for an out-of-reach threat, and the tops drilling through rocks were an excellent twist. But the personal stunner was the Wander Bell, the enemy that really feels like the definition of cannon fodder as far as Mega Man goes, and it's almost never useful. And yet, I could think of a lot of Wander Balls here that actually required some genuine effort instead of just dying as an achievement. Yeah, they were in some positions where it was pretty necessary to, you know, take them out within a given amount of time. Or they were on, like, rocks that you didn't want to shoot, so you just shoot well. Good cumulative auto-scroll, design feels solid. Hammerhead sharks can be a little too easy to snipe, and one of the slide tunnels is annoyingly finicky. Where did Rockman go wrong? That would be Rockman himself. Remarkably unpolished with a lot of problems to adjust, and I do mean a lot. Attacks take forever. RNG behaviors mean you can spam various invincible attacks. Bosses that aren't likely to show off their whole arsenal in fight is a pet peeve of mine. Anytime you die to him, you have to replay his really long intro cutscene. Tornado top attack can shove him out of the room, leaving the energy element trapped and bouncing uselessly beneath the floor. It can also Kaizo trap you. Combine all these inches together, and the boss ends on an infuriating note. I had a pretty calm experience with that boss, but I could see there was definitely some bad issues with it. And to deal with the ice ball attack, that one sucks. We can damage him easily during Shockwave and Break Dash. I haven't seen the Shockwave attack until now. Fair enough. Yeah, the other ones did require some pretty solid timing. Shift up to skip cutscenes. Oh, alright. I haven't enjoyed this level much. By and large, it's a perfectly average stage nearly all the way through. A few questionable things and drag it down a little bit. Decent gimmick combos here. Enemy placement complements these. They're typically not so easy to dispose of from a distance. Started to drag a little bit towards the end. Wait time coming down. Companies for that. The annoying Plantman platforms do add a bit more depth to some of the setups, but the slowness on them can still be an issue. Felt doubly so if you die or fall off a platform, which is quite easy to do here. That aside, I say that the only other major issue I have this stage, we did trek to get the magnet beam. Yeah, it wasn't very useful. Laser Trident was the more useful thing to have. Oh, spiked ceilings of the top platforms flying beneath it has no collision detection for the spikes. Fun. The actual Rockman himself, but before we can get into that fight proper, let's matter the cutscene before it. I'm going to dock the stage points because the cutscene's presentation, anything along those lines, the way it's done is perfectly fine. Because every time you have to do it, yeah, I always have to reread it every single time. Let's see. When I judged this, the dev team hadn't added a universal cutscene skip option yet, so it's that several times, the fake energy element, all that. End of it all, the actual Rockman's fight isn't very good. Too many attacks. During oversights, the tornado blow quickly could easily kill you, even after the fight has ended by dragging you up to the spiked ceiling, while the laser trident attack seems to require way too precise movements. Yeah, that one was very irritating. Very sour note. Koishi. It's a really decent stage with very clever use of gimmicks. A few key factors in Cell. Blocks are basically repurposed junk blocks with damaging pebbles falling out when you hit them. Subtle, a neat change. Flatman platforms, yeah, that's nice. Cheesable with charge shot and weapons aside, I definitely appreciate the thought process behind them. Weapons being pick up unlockables is fine as a concept, but there is one critical thing. You don't get to keep them after death, despite what the text box implies. No, that's exactly what the text box implies. It's very easy to lose them, at least they are not strictly necessary to get, but they would have helped. Boss the biggest miss. Long unskippable cutscene on refights, absurd damage output to health bars, and plenty of tricky attacks to dodge reliably. He becomes invulnerable, are you for real? It's funny, yes, this tiny unremarkable rock man actually turns out to be this threatening, but does not excuse a poorly designed fight. And then frustration comes and ruins the score. I don't think I've seen the word rigmarole actually ever spelled out before, it just feels so weird looking at it. I mean, I can understand that. I mean, how do you think I felt when I saw bog standard written out? The premise and boss concept are creative, graphics are tidy and professional, the slow methodical feeling of the music and gameplay is refreshing, despite a couple questionable theming things. Look at a rock man. Yeah. The assets work together and cover in meaningful ways. Top spikes, yep, auto scrolling is a good culmination, though I'd swap the E-Tank for a token. For a good level, yeah, I think there's potential here for a great level. Imagine this, magnet beam lies visible behind a key door. The key is guarded by a mini-boss in a dead-end room. No split paths to confuse you. No need to unlock a weapon just to get through a barrier. Magnet beam can be used immediately to ease challenges and access unreachable areas. Real secret passageways, not a wall with a missing tile that just looks suspicious that some idiot's going to attempt to magnet beam his way up to. In ways that Rush simply cannot. Die, the weapon respawns where you found it. The sign next to it suggests. It's not what the sign suggests. Oh, it doesn't even respawn there. Oh, okay. That's an issue. Imagine further, the level has been thoroughly checked for unsafe screen transitions, absence bike collection, and web puzzles that can be bypassed with a well-placed charge shot. Okay, more checkpoints, but cutscenes skippable. Boss is only one health bar, attack phases that are more deliberate. Details make the difference. A fundamental issue with the stage overall is that it's cramped, slow moving, becomes a chore to go through. I wouldn't quite say that. Minor issues elsewhere quickly become more significant frustrations given how long the player is left waiting in certain spots. Some aspects of the level are pretty novel. I like the interactivity between the rocks and the top platforms. I like the concept of the bird, but doesn't fit the level architecture. Level concept was fine, a little uninteresting. Why are the weapons locked? Why they reset on death? I found zero use for either weapon throughout the stage. With how much backtracking was required, I expected some payoff. Not feasible to keep them around, speak for yourself. There was some very off-putting and uncanny about the music, probably the sound font you used. Yeah, the sound font was a little odd, even if the theme was pretty good. Wrong song frequency to trigger hypersensitive hearing reaction. Default option for bosses is skip cutscenes after they've been seen once if the player has to do it a bunch. We've seen this before. Found the issue that the boss following such a difficult and long fight, a single health bar would have made this significantly more bearable. The entire fight ends up being a damage race with the player at a major disadvantage. Found the secret, meh, not a fan. Well, didn't find that secret myself either. Alright. Finish us off, Toon Woman. Hey, I feel like you should be out there with Idol Woman. Yes, the crowd, the rhythmic presentation, the multicolored display. You might say this place is attuned to my liking. Might even say that. How much do we have left to tier 10? Just curious. 61, 60, and I'm... Nope, didn't mean to do that. Not quite yet. Spoilers for next stream. Probably save next level. The next stream's got 2 elements, but on the long side. Alright, fair enough. Yeah, it's at the usual 2-hour mark anyways, so, yeah, I'll call it here for the night. Thanks for joining me tonight, everyone. And next week we'll be finishing up tier 10, starting up tier 11, or hell, maybe even, I'm guessing the second tier of the arena probably opens up. So we'll probably go and transition into that afterwards. So, yeah, have a good night, everyone. See you next stream, and talk to you later. Bye.